Last session we were seeing about security methods. First one is cryptography. I said like cryptography is of two types, that is symmetric key encryption and asymmetric key cryptography. And second one is authentication. What is authentication? As I said, authentication is nothing but to check whether the sender should check whether the data sent by him is received by the authorized receiver, and the receiver should check whether he has received the data from the authorized sender. This is authentication. How we can check the authentication? In the network security, we'll see. Network systems must be able to verify the authenticity of the message and the sender of the message. Yes, they should able to check both the thing. What happens is, if at all the message is sent by the person, like principal is sending some message to the faculties that tomorrow is holiday, but he passes the data through some non-teaching or attender faculty attender. If he may be unauthorized person, or he may be charged, or he may be bribed to do the purpose, to do some action. So what he does, he may change that, change the circular as today tomorrow is working. Then what happens? It is received by the faculties. They are finding that tomorrow is working. So what happens? It has been sent by the authorized person. It has been received by the authorized person, but the content has been changed. So, what is authentication? Authentication is nothing but whether we have to check whether it comes from the authorized person. It is coming from the authorized person, but it has been modified. How we can identify that it has been modified or not? The first method to check the authenticity and the integrity is authentication with message digest. See, we have to convert, the message should be taken and it has to be converted. It has to be, the data should be applied with the function, that is some mathematical operation should be performed on the data, and we will get some message digest with the help of some keys, which is known only to the sender and the receiver. So we'll get the message digest value. So with the message, we have to attach the message digest value, which is calculated by applying function on the message. Function is nothing but any mathematical operation they can use, which is known only to the sender and the receiver. Okay. So what happens? Uh, Along with the message digest value is also sent. Once the receiver gets the data, he only knows how to calculate the message digest. Only the sender and the receiver knows. So nobody can modify the data in the transmission. And since only the sender and the receiver knows how to convert the data into the message digest value, nobody else can send other than the authorized sender. So what happens here? The receiver will also take the message and he will apply the same function, same mathematical operations, and he will calculate the message digest value. If the message digest value sent by the sender on particular data and the message digest value calculated by the receiver on the same data is same, then he will conclude that the message is coming from the authorized person. If the message digest value is different, then he will conclude that it is coming from an authorized person, and he will reject the data, or he will drop the data, and he will request the sender to resend the data once again. So by this, what we can ensure? By the authentication with message digest, what we can ensure is, we can ensure two things. One is authentication and the other one is integrity. So authentication can be further classified into two things: source authentication and the receiver authentication. As I said, if you are going to ensure whether it comes from the authorized source, then that is called source authentication. If source is going to ensure that whether the data has been received by the authorized receiver only, then it is receiver authentication or authentication by the receiver. So the first one is done, that is message digest. So everything happens with the help of some key. It can be a symmetric key cryptography or asymmetric key cryptography. Anything can be used based on the situation. Then comes authentication with digital signature. So, what is digital signature? Why we need this is message authentication protects a user in a network against data falsification and ensures data integrity. The purpose is same, but the method which we are going to use will be different in case of digital signature. These methods do not necessarily use keys. Instead of using keys, what this digital signature is going to use is hashing operation. So we'll be seeing what is hashing in the future classes, future sessions. The hashing is nothing but we will be having some arbitrary length of data, and we'll apply the hashing operation on that data, and we will get the fixed size value. So with that, we'll be producing some digital signature. So the data after applying hashing will get the signature value, which is sent to the network along with the data. The digital signature will also be sent, and the receiver can check by seeing the digital signature that it has been. He will generate again another digital signature, and if it both matches, then he will ensure that the data has been modified or not, and if it comes from the authorized sender or not. So you would have seen this digital signature in our Aadhaar card document and all. Why it is given as like barcode, scan code and all they would have given. If you scan it, the same content will come. No, so from that they will come to know that whether it is a modified content or it is a original content. That is the use of digital signature. In the passport and all, barcoding will be there. What is the use of barcoding and the scan code is we can check the originality of the message, whether it has been modified or not. That can be done with the help of digital signature, and it is from the authorized people or not also we can send, because this is the proper data from the government of India, that is Aadhaar card. So we can check whether if the scan code works properly, if it is signed properly, then we can check it is from the authorized person or not, and whether it has been modified or not, it's the original content or not. This is about authentication with digital signature. Then we'll go with the digital signature, that is digital signature on the message is required for authentication, as I said earlier. Authentication and the identification of the right sender, that has been sent by the government of, it has been produced by the government of India or not, that can be ensured with the help of the digital signature. Now also we can see in all the government websites they are authorizing us to use, they are allowing us to use the document which is digitally signed, even the driving license, everything. So digital signature helps us. So that's all about this digital signature. Thank you so much.